Hello. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Sorry for wait some minute. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another session with Dev Changemaker. Today's session is about KNN. So what I am trying to cover today's agenda is parametric, non-parametric, and the KNN. In the KNN, I will try to describe the how to what's the distance and how to choose best k, and in the later we will show the toy code of KNN. One of the important topic in the machine learning is about parametric and non-parametric. So by name, if we think that the parametric means it have a parameter and the non-parametric means it have no parameter, then we are living full of paradise. That doesn't mean in the parametric the number of parameter is fixed. We can assume, for example, in our linear regression, if we consider the price, salary and experience, so here is the line equation. We will see in later in our notebook that how it change with the over that time. And in non-parametric we cannot assume, if the number of row increases, the model also parameter also change, like decision tree and KNN. Okay, so for just recap, we know that how ML works. Basically we develop a machine learning model where we give input, and based on the model it return and output. So machine learning model can be anything, but here today we talk about KNN. I also back to some mentioned some basic thing, that regression. What does it mean? Generally, in regression, it whenever we give some input, it return an output. The output is a continuous value. It can be a real number or decimal float number. And the classification. So classification, we have our output limited, and based on uh, for example, if we look in the example, that there have some features about the rating, biography, drama, thriller and so on, also history. These all are the feature of a movie. Based on this, it can, for example, we have three level 0 1 2, and whatever we give the features input, it predict value 0 to 1, doesn't beyond this is the classification problem. So why I am mentioned the regression and classification? Well, now back in KNN. What is KNN? KNN means k nearest neighbor. So this is an simple and also a famous algorithm. It's work for both classification and regression. We have know already that the what does classification and regression means, and it also work for linear and non-linear. So what does mean k in KNN? So Without k nearest neighbor, we can easily uh, relate our things that the nearest neighbor, what uh, what it means, like in our society, the neighbor who have our near, like that. But what in the model? So k is a parameter which defined how many neighbor included with him. Okay, we will also see later in our notebook. So is there any way we can select the best k? There is the there is best select k is called parameter twinning. So let's see, we have a data set and we set the k value is equal to 3. So what happened, we can see that we have all three data. Among them, two are rectangular and one is triangular. So if we want to predict from this, we know that according to the majority, the model return circle, rectangular, sorry. So what happened if we set the k value 7? So one thing is, if we notice that whenever we k set k equal to 3, then it's considered only 3 neighbor. Where is the our new variable? It's 3. And whenever k equal to 7, it's considered the nearest 7 data point, 1 2 3 7. So now what model return? First of all, as there are two type of data, rectangular and triangular. So model predict the majority one. From this model return the triangular. So we can see that the whenever our k is different, the output is also different. So is k is fixed, or how do we set k? There is the one thing running in our question. Basically we cannot predict it or cannot say that. It's totally depend on data set. So now I am moving to my notebook. Which one? So I mentioned it in my slide and earlier, the distance. What does the distance mean, or why do you need to calculate it? For example, we have uh, two type of data set for simple understanding. Let's see, here is the blue one. So we can see easily that uh, sorry, there is a two classes, red and blue. So whenever a purple dataset is coming, so what we predict, could we say it's included with the blue or red one? We cannot tell it according to the KNN. So what does it do here? Basically it calculate distance all value from it to another one. So and after calculate distance, what does it do? So there, so we can here that the calculate distance, there are many way in we can calculate distance. Among them, the best one is Euclidean distance, and we all know that if we have 2 point like x1 and x2 and y1 and y2, we know that how do we find the Euclidean distance. So here is the reference uh, formula. So after calculating all distance, we sort it. For example, like 1 2 3 4 5 after sorting, just for example, and if we select k is equal to 3, then what we will do, our data consider the first 3 value. So like this, whenever we set k is equal to 3, uh, just for understanding it, select this 3 1 and then return the value according to majority 1. So another famous distance calculation is the taxi cab geometry or Bentham geometry. uh, in our Euclidean distance, we consider that here if we have one value and here another one value, we can easily uh, sum them and then the square root, we will find the Euclidean distance. But in the uh, taxi cab geometry, it will not directly follow this rule, rather than it's follow step by step or grid to grid. So it's written simply sum over the y1 minus y2, and what we will see in the Euclidean distance, that is square and then finally it square root after if we remove this the Euclidean distance. Okay, also there are many distance calculator, but that doesn't consider and I have no much idea about that. And now back into the k select. So how do we select k? For example, if I start 3 5, if we have a large number of data set, then how do we select? Should we increase 3 5 7 11, or can I choose 2 4 even number? One thing is that whenever our data set is even, so we select the k value is odd. Otherwise, if we select even value, then what happen? For example, we have 4 data sets, so if I choose the k value 2, then it's divided into 2 part. So it cannot calculate other thing, is just return one value from, so we cannot find the optimal value of the our new data set. That's why whenever our data set is positive, we select the k is odd number. So other thing is that heuristic method. So what does it do? Whenever we just root over our the total data set, and then we will find a value, and then we select we can 9 or 11. For example, in our data set has 100 data point, then how many k? So we divided into 10, but we know that we cannot consider the positive value. That's why we either take 9 or 11. This is the one way. Another way is experimental, like cross validation check. So what does it mean, cross validation? For example, I have 100 data set, so 80% for training and 20% for validation, cross validation check. Then what I have to do? Well, I am calculating like 20%. So I am trying to calculate, select k3, then I will find a value. For example, I find 40%, k is equal to 7. I gradually increase the k and check the value, which one give the best optimal value. So for example, k is equal to 11 and it's returned 95%. So here which one I must take? I will take the k 11 is best for this data. Okay, so Now I talk about the something about parametric and non-parametric. Just give a little example. If we have experience and the salary, so for example is 10,000 to 15. There is a line example. As it is a linear regression problem, excuse me, uh, we can easily tell that mx plus b. Here we can predict always two value. Consider whatever the input is. For example, if I have 10 years, I can easily find the value. If I know the slope and the intercept, easily can calculate the salary value. But this is the parametric where the parameter doesn't change. If we insert 100 years experience, it also doesn't change. So what happened if we have uh, a lots of data? Based on the data, the parameter will be changed. For example, if I draw a tree, uh, just focus on the example that if I have two data sets, then the node like this. Hello, I am audible. Hello. Okay. So if the row number increase, the data also increase in the tree structure. So that is why the number of rows increases, the parameter increases. So we do not tell that no parametric means there is no parameter. That is wrong. The parameter is increases along with the number of row increases. Okay, now we would like now I am going to show the basic code in Kaggle. So where just I run the code all and then I will describe what is happening. uh, First of all, I include the necessary machine learning library. And where is the my data set? Today I am using a toy data set that is from sklearn. So sklearn have number of many toy data. So I selected one is make bulbs. So what happened in here, I am the number of features and the shape of dataset uh, separate, and then the print the shape. Just I took 100. If I here